Hello and welcome to a new project. Today I'll show you how to repair chips and cracks on your hubcaps. In my previous videos on Big Red, I restored the paint and the faded trim. This is meant to be the last project before I sell it, but because of the current COVID lockdown, this is not going to happen anytime soon. I'll try to do more projects on this car. We might do a compression test to compare the engines with my live-in, since they have the same engine. Alright, let's get started with this project. And as you can see, we have a few scratches here. And some chipping on the corners. And the first step is to soak them overnight in soapy water. To get rid of deep scratches, you'll need to sand them down with 60 to 80 grit sandpaper. And this is how it looks after. We'll blow off all the dust from sanding. I'll be using this body filler to repair the chips. This is usually used on metal surfaces and it doesn't stick too well onto plastics. Fiberglass is recommended for plastics, but this is a lot cheaper. So like I said, body filler doesn't stick too well onto plastics, but it sticks well to itself. And so to help it stick, we'll drill a few holes in the places we're filling. And here we have the holes. I'll put some filler on both sides so that the filler holds itself in place. Before our next step, we'll remove all the dust. You mix 1 part hardener to 20 parts filler. So I'll put a blob of hardener here. Apply it as fast as possible before it hardens. And this is how it looks after 20 minutes of drying. And now I'll sand off the excess. We're using 80 grit sandpaper. And we'll do the next layer of filler. And this is our second layer, and as you can see, I've got filler on both sides and more sanding. And we're getting closer to the shape. And one final layer. And here I'm using 200 Grit Sandpaper. And now it's time for the fine filler. This fills in small imperfections. Now I'm going over this with 400 Grit Sandpaper. And this is the end result. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going over the whole surface with 800 Grit Sandpaper. To prep the surface, we'll clean it with wax and grease remover. And we'll start with the primer. We'll mix 1 part primer with 2 parts thinner. And apply about 2 coats with 10 minutes between coats. This is our second layer. The only paint I have is black paint, and I don't want it to be black, so I'll be mixing half paint with half primer to get a darker grey colour. And this is the second layer. And after 3 coats of paint, I'll apply the clear coat to protect the paint and give it shine. And this is the final result. And this is the main part we worked on. And this brings the Big Red project to an end. And thank you for watching. I hope you've learnt something. Look out for more projects on Big Red and my other cars. Until then, keep safe, and I'll see you in the next one.